Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO, delivered by Menulog. Of course, it's time for Menulog meal time, which isn't actually on this other arm, but you know we've got lots of Menulogs. And guess what? Not only is it time for you guys to win a $30 voucher when you type MENUPOG in chat, it's also someone's birthday. Guess whose birthday it is, guys? Who has a birthday today? Raise your hand. Oh, it's Kitty! Wow, I have no idea. Kitty, who do you want to win a $30 voucher?
I want you to win the $30 voucher, Mac.
That's, I think we're not
Is that
allowed to
rigged?
do that.
Oh, that's rigged?
Well, I'm not going to...
All right, well, type MENUPOG in the chat to win a $30 voucher because it is my birthday, so you will be extra lucky and you will high roll the voucher.
Also type happy birthday, Kitty.
Yes, type happy birthday, Kitty, please, in the chat. You won't win anything, but Kitty... she'll give you a lot of affection and love and happiness.
I will cry.
From, you know, and yeah, we'll go
Of
to the green room
happiness.
after this. She'll read your Twitch chat messages and she'll probably tear up. I'll take a photo, put it on the Twitter sphere. Either way.
Look for that fabrication.
Hey, Kitty, what's your favorite? Kitty, what's your favorite kind of cake?
Look at me, cry.
Sorry.
Okay, are we crying or are we talking about cake?
We're talking
Disregard
about
us.
Anyways.
Disregard us.
they haven't. That's their couch. They do
I
their
love how we
things.
have, like, couches
I'm here with the
honestly.
birthday girl. Skimmy. I'm here with the birthday girl. Kitty, what's your favorite kind of cake?
My favorite cake is Oreo flavored cake.
Wow, we just so happen to have an Oreo flavored cake just over here, so I'm gonna go
That's
grab it.
crazy.
Wow.
Where did you get that
Amazing.
from?
Oh my God.
We actually
scripted?
got this one
Scripted?
on Menulog.
How did you know?
It's super poggers. Can I just show everyone?
Peepo Pog.
Can you guys see how good this
Please
cake
do
is?
not.
I've got my thumb
Oh my
there.
God, please
I've
do
got
not
my
flip
thumb
it.
there. Look,
The anxiety.
I've got my thumb there. It's okay. There we go. And put it right in the middle. Did you want it first? Did you want to have a bite?
Let's wait
Okay.
because unless we're going full caveman mode and I'll go in with my claws.
I'm happy to go caveman, mate. That out there. But I
Yeah,
don't wanna
so
ruin your
Rusty,
cake.
excuse me, what's your favorite cake?
Yeah.
Is that our question for the day?
We've already gone through that. I just was doing
Yeah.
the bit to get the cake
I got
out
halfway
here.
through answering though.
We're going to
last
sing
time.
Happy
We got
Birthday?
blindsided last time.
No.
Why not?
No.
Happy
No, you don't.
birthday
to
you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kitty. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip.
hip.
Hooray!
Hip hip.
Hooray!
Hip hip.
Hooray!
Thank you.
Ah.
You
Can
can't
I-
let her do it
The
on
thing
her
with
own.
Happy Birthday is as much as I want to sing every time, but like it's just the saddest song. The way people sing it, like
Why?
90% of the time.
We're not happy.
No,
my
this
tone
was well done.
Oh.
I'm actually like I'm not denying that was well done, but so many other people when they sing it, it's like I don't want to sing it, and then it becomes sad. It's like yeah.
You almost
It's
did that.
true.
But I have Skimmy
That's
here.
why I didn't sing because it would have been that.
Got you, bro.
Well,
the
look,
issue.
it all worked out. Kitty, have you had a happy little Menulog birthday?
I've had a great Menulog birthday, Mac, and we are going to chow down on this Oreo cake
Oh.
after as we enter the green room.
Well, I'm sure we will. It actually looks really scrumdiddlyumptious, doesn't it?
Are those marshmallows?
What is it sponge with like Oreo stuff in the middle?
I believe it is
Looks good.
Oreo. I think that is Oreos. Let's just confirm that.
Yeah.
Grab a handful.
No, don't tempt me.
Throw the champ slave.
If this was DreamHack Live Finals, which you guys bought tickets to and you were there and there was a cake and I might have hands and we might have cake, then maybe I'll put my hands in the
Might have
cake and eat the
hands.
cake with my hands. But you got to be there. It might not happen if you're not there, so make sure you buy your tickets.
walks around with
Um,
stumps. How are you, mate?
Anyway,
Welcome
it's
to
time
DreamHack
to
Melbourne.
start talk-
Champion Conundrum.
It's not time for the champion conundrum. Maybe DreamHack will have one. Who knows? We'll have a lot of stuff going on there. But right now, we got a game happening. Game number 2. It's Peace. It's Chiefs. Let's talk about Chiefs first. This team have been immaculate all season. Aladoric always leading the charge, calling up a storm, and then the rest of the merry men as well. You can't fault them. They're bloody amazing, aren't they, Skimmy?
They certainly are. They are the team to always keep your eyes on. You just cannot take your eyes off how good they've been. The impressive nature in which they've claimed their wins. 18 wins in a row, and you're really feeling like now is the chance for them to really have that perfect split. It would be crazy. It would be unfathomable, but it's looking nearer and nearer.
Really is. Now, the team they're playing today is Peace, and Peace, unfortunately, haven't had a good mid-split, let's say. They've got a lot of L's recently. They've got some games where they've looked really good in the early game, then things have crumbled. They've even had some games, and we've looked at some stats, where Peace are very much down at 15 minutes. I think their average gold at 15 minutes was like negative 1,000 behind their opponents, and then they've just been playing for scaling and somehow getting back into the game. So that's how they got a lot of their early wins. But that whole algorithm to their victories sort of stopped working a little while ago. So what can we expect from them today up against the Chiefs? Because Chiefs already have that 2-0 head-to-head, and the last time they went toe-to-toe, it was not as close as, some people might have liked.
Both games have ended in exactly 25 minutes, which is crazy. When you think about the caliber of players on either side, the fact that it is just such a clean stomp in that regard. Raze has not died in any of the games, which is phenomenal to me. And Rakan's been able to get Aladoric.
Even a support.
Rakan's been able to get Aladoric. Aladoric's been able to play the Rakan both times, which is just crazy as well. So you're really hoping that the game will go longer than 25 minutes.
Now, are we expecting that to happen? Because with the form we're seeing both these teams in, are we expecting a quick game or a long one, Kitty?
If I remember very correctly from last time, Violet went, I believe, 0-6 on the Jinx, and it was basically a 20-minute loss. It was very painful to be Violet that day, and I believe it's this clip where Violet just has danger in all 5 angles, and he can just do nothing because Chiefs know that Violet is the main carry, and if they shut him down, then Peace has no win con. Even though, yes, RP was on that Corki, but RP in his recent performances isn't as reliable as if they get Violet fed, which was what happened last night where he played the Sivir and he was basically kind of the only reason why they were still in the game because, yeah, Violet does not want to put and let Peace down, but hopefully we do get to see more from the boys, even though they are going up against Chiefs.
Yeah, that's right. That was when Chiefs decided to, all in on Violet, 0-5 him, bloody take him out of any chance in the game, and that was Violet's return. That was his welcome back.
This is
Chiefs are
Aladoric's
here.
way of saying hello.
That was rough. So looking like there is a very big reality of this being a 3-0 affair. I'd love to, try to drive a storyline for Peace here, some sort of last-minute resurgence, because they need to. They really need this win if they want to stay in that top 5 conversation. But it's Chiefs, and Chiefs are undefeated, and Chiefs don't stop being undefeated because they're bloody Chiefs right now.
They're kind of the best.
Yeah.
It's very hard to look past the Chiefs. They are basically unstoppable at this stage. And for Peace, to try and throw them a bone and give them anything against the Chiefs, generally it has to be find an early lead or keep up with the Chiefs early and then, have Violet as the late game insurance. But like you saw from the last 2 times they played, they never got to the Violet stage of the game. They're losing too hard too early. And so something really has to fundamentally change with the team and the draft maybe before the team to give them an edge where they haven't had one.
It's one of those things where you see what Peace are trying to do with their draft, and then it just sort of crumbles before it even gets started because Chiefs are so good with that early game. We've been having a chat about, different aggressive ADCs, and Raze, he's always there. He always has some help from Aladoric, who's happy to fight early, happy to, play for the advantages, but also the fact that Arthur, he has just been like the best supportive jungler in terms of getting those ganks off, getting that bot lane ahead, getting mid lane ahead, easy kills at top. You name a bloody lane, he's ganked it so many times.
Towards bottom as well, the past week, really, maybe even a little bit longer, has level 2 ganks, level 3 ganks, always towards Raze and Aladoric, and I mean, easy recipe to beat Peace, is it not? Just do that again, and it'll work.
And look, let's talk about this bot lane a little bit more in depth. Let's talk about these ADCs. Head-to-head, Raze and Violet at the start of the split, you would have put them pretty much on par from what we've seen over previous splits. But Violet, look, he had his time overseas. He's come back. And Raze, it might just be the people around him. It might just be because he's built different. But have a look at the stats. They're not that similar at all.
They are, and something that is worth noting is that their champion pool is so different. We have Raze on the Kai'Sa and Lucian that are extremely close range ADCs that like being in your face, while Violet always opts into the hyper carry long range ADCs like the Jinx and Aphelios, where you want to be at the 30-minute mark. But looking at the different KDs, we do see that Raze has a significant higher average damage to objectives, where it's because Arthur and Alidoric puts so much pressure into the bot lane, they're able to get that first tower extremely quick. And then if Raze can get bot lane tower extremely quick, he can just rotate to other lanes and just dominate the entire map through objectives.
Now, where do we see this bot lane going? Are we expecting it to work out like that with Violet on a hyper carry and Raze just playing, well, whatever the hell Raze wants? Because no matter what he gets his hands on, he seems to make magic with it.
I mean, it's about supports for me more than it is just the ADCs when talking about the champions that they're going to play. So, like, yeah, you might have a hyper carry for Violet, you might have an aggressive lane champion from Raze, but if the support is also like an Alistar or a Nautilus for Alidoric, you got to be very careful about how you play that lane out. And it's not going to be as simple for someone like Guncrab to be as proficient with those champions, which, fun fact, Alidoric has been the support for every single person in bottom lane this game.
Well, he's been...
That's not incorrect.
He was the support
around.
for Guncrab in 2019, Violet in 2021, and Raze this year.
Very true. That's a solid point. Look, if we ever do trivia, I'm sure you'll win. Congratulations,
I was
Rusty.
also their coach. So,
That
fun
too.
fact.
That too. Anyway, look, we've got Arthur on the line to have a quick chit chat to. Arthur, how are you feeling going into today's game?
Pretty confident towards Peace, and I'm sure we can be discussed really easily.
That's great to hear that you guys are always confident. Well, let's talk about history, because back in Split 1, I believe that Chiefs ended number 1 and Peace actually ended number 2 at the end of the regular split. So why do you think Peace is currently struggling and failing in the current split?
They was really good at like team plays, like detailed team plays, but seems like now their team play doesn't really work at all. So they should try be more creative and proactive, I guess.
Do you think Alidoric, when he was on Peace, that was a big factor for their success, doing a lot of the calling, trying to sort of lead by example? Or do you think, you know, they should be able to find another support to still have that much effective team play?
Alidoric is such a huge brain, pretty proactive and like does make out team colors, but I think only one people does like only team plays. I think like every five player has to be calling the shot colors, in my opinion.
I'm sorry for the giggles, but we need to feature what Tally has on his monitor in the very background. It's very cute. Well, best of luck in your match up against Peace, Arthur, and I'm sure we will see you very soon.
Alright, see ya.
Good to chat with him, you know, confidence.
Monka Christ.
Yep.
Yes, go off.
Is that what it was?
Up at an emote. I see you.
Pop it in chat, guys. It's my birthday. It's my wish. Pop in a Monka Christ for the boys and Tally.
That's if it's
That's
enabled
your
on this
wish?
channel. Good luck.
One of my wishes.
Oh, one of you. Okay. We missed getting greedy over here. Anyway, Dare fan vote time.
That's a big ass.
Sort it out, Twitch mods.
Time. Get those Twitch
Sort it
points in. Kitty, who do you want them to put their Twitch points on?
On the Dare fan vote.
No, but which team?
Oh, on the Dare Chiefs fan vote. Look, I'm usually a Peace fiend. Why are you dying?
I'm sorry.
I'm usually a Peace supporter, but with their recent performance, I don't know if I can go with them anymore.
We've been in a giggly mood
Do you want to vote for team A or B? Dare!
Vote for
It's
Dare.
so good. It's just so good.
By the way, we've all gone for Chiefs in our predictions.
Help.
Understandably so.
Oh,
If
you
we
can't
are,
do this.
look, with Peace's current form, let's talk about the current form. What kind of chances are we giving him today? Is it like 1 in 10? Like, where are we feeling like?
I'll let Kitty decide the percentage.
Yeah, Kitty, where is it?
Kitty's our vibe check for peace.
Honestly, I'm feeling like a
I'm red.
85 and 15. This is like
15?
Peace on a really, really, really good day, but they need bodyguards around Violet at all times because Alidoric has his eyes fixed on his old
If
ADC.
all of Peace show up and they're their best form ever in this game, what percentage?
Best perform, honestly, probably like a more of a 40 if they are at the best that they can do, like
Yeah.
Okay.
perform.
Well-
I think the players on hand.
I
yes.
think to get that 40%, they need a good draft. And fortunately for you guys at home, we got Champ Select ready. Let's jump on into game number 2.
Let's eat this cake.
Let's eat that
Have
cake.
fun with your cake.
Grab the cake, show it to the draft as we load into this one. The Chiefs on the left-hand side with first pick, Prio, decide to deny
Sorry, guys.
the center, the
Don't mind
cluster, the
Max,
Renata,
we'll just
and
take
deny
duty.
the cake as well.
That's-
Beautiful.
that's
Thank
okay.
you so much
You
for
became a
that.
cake for a second.
Why not?
Congratulations.
I became a cake. Bit of a treat.
Out of your mind. Let's get into the draft. First pick, Silas, still going to be there as really the #1 priority champion right now for most of the teams in the league. For that first pick on blue side. Champions like Poppy are still going to be up and available, but with Renata gone, a few combos have been taken away from bot lane champions. We also have seen the rise of Rise. I just really need another word. In draft priority this week. So
We can cue the world's theme tune.
yeah,
Rise.
yeah. Well, let's not, because then we'll just get into a conversation about best world songs.
True.
And that's heated for everyone actually. But yeah, Rise very easily could have a Poppy, have a Wukong. Honestly, with jungle champions not being touched in pick bans so far there. So I like what Peace have done here instead. They've prioritized Violet Sivir. They give themselves the space here if they really need to pick a strong bot lane 2v2. To look for an enchanter or something third, depending on what Chiefs go. And Chiefs have said, go all the time.
If you log that in, then we will just respond, as I am one of very few Draven players in this region.
Yeah.
I will cop a ban for it, but you've let it go through.
And you know what's good in a Sivir? Rakan.
It is.
The reason is you can only spell shield half the combo. So just keep that in mind. You know what else can play support on patch 12.14?
No, don't say it.
Jarvan.
No, don't say it.
It's
Flag
not-
buff, hello?
It's 12.13, so
Yep.
we're not going to get it just yet.
Might see it.
But you did see the Jarvan hover. That's also the type of energy that we really want to see from Peace in terms of champions, I feel like, Skimmy, right? You want more of a Jarvan play style.
I'm going in, let's back me up.
You want to see Jarvan rise. You want Appy and Lisa to be moving together. And the most important thing here for not just us as spectators of the draft, but for everyone at home that is a Peace fan, is that they looked their best in Split 1 when they had a rise mid. Because they were constantly moving from mid lane, diving side lanes. They were proactive, they were aggressive, they were making plays. Admittedly, it wasn't a Poppy style jungler, it was something that was a bit more of a duelist or had kill potential.
Yeah.
But Poppy early still is extremely flexible in how you play, has got high base damage. So there's definitely worlds where this works really successfully for Peace.
It certainly does, and it does feel almost like the workings of a bit of a salty run back here for Peace from their game up against Order, right? The 3 of 5 components that made up that comp to try and get them in that position. They banned away Alyssa and Isolation that you mentioned could be a bit of an issue here that Alador could look to try and flex with. Will the Rakan be banned away, or will he be given the opportunity to try and play it free out of the 3 occasions up against his former team? The Chiefs, they're going to deny
Nautilus.
the Tahm Kench, but it's a Naut ban instead.
Yeah, okay, so Tahm Kench is a good ban to get, to first of all stop a Draven from doing damage, and second of all, if something like an Alistar or Nautilus was picked, it could be denied as a tool, right? You're not going to be able to headbutt Pov combo them. Yuumi going to be taken here as well, so really trying to make life harder for Gunkrab and Violet in bottom lane. That really is what a lot of this game plan is going to come down to. We've seen Arthur religiously ganking bottom at this stage. Mid lane Silas into a Rise can match with ultimate here and there as well. So this is definitely going to be one of those games where the whole map tends to translate towards bottom, towards that 2v2, towards the Drake potentially, if not just Herald as 5 members strong. And we'll see where Chiefs choose to go in response to seeing a Braum blind in bottom lane with a Draven already there.
Yeah.
The world is your oyster when you see a blind Braum. As a support player, you look at that, you make eye contact, you think this is great.
And that was my concern, right? They're hovering to Sejuani now, but I was thinking, what if Peach just locked in Braum and Sejuani and said, we got double stun passives, infinite lockdown potential to try and allow Rise and Sivir the uptime to try and bridge the gap of their distance and really lock down these key melee carries like a Silas, like a Draven. So the Sejuani gets denied away. I like that. The big question now really is, what support do you go for, right? You've seen this blind Braum. Is it as simple as a saying? You cannot afford to let me have this Rakan every single time. I will just punish you with it.
And I feel like Braum, or rather Rakan, is good into Braum from what I remember as well of these support matchups, because you get in and out before you get stunned, right? Like,
Sure.
Rakan struggles a little bit more with the instant stun champion. So Leona has a really good matchup because if you go in, you get stun locked. Braum requires setup, requires teammates to actually lock that stun target down. And so oftentimes you will see Rakan into that. And it's not just Rakan, it's Aladoric's Rakan. There is actually, I mean, the reality is all you need now is a cleanse for Raze. Raze also a movement speed champion with the W on, so Poppy's not going to be able to deny any dashes. I do feel like the bottom lane of the Chiefs is relatively happy. In saying that the rest of the comp does have a dash, so Lisa has value with the steadfast presence there. But yeah, I stand by what I said, even with the last picks here, Skimmy. The Sejuani top is just going to be weak-sided. I feel like the Chiefs are just going to be playing 5v5. The world revolves around their bottom lane duo, and if they succeed, the whole map is the expansion.
And I'm always so terrified, especially when Arthur and Aladoric lock in these two champions together, because they've just proven to be a cut above the rest. They just link up beautifully. Yeah. There's just nothing you can do. You can have a cleanse, you can have a Mikhails. It just does not matter. The amount of CC they can really put together, and it's just going to make it so much fun for them to obviously play out this game. I'm really curious to see where this one goes, because Silas obviously still has a plethora of good options of ult he can steal. He can take on the hunt, make them go fast, charge down a key target themselves. He could, become the Gwen for a second as well. He's infinite options. So I'm really curious to see where this one will go. And, well, I mean, in terms of really what we get, it's a big game here for Peace. They are staring down the barrel of a gun of not making playoffs the first time ever.
I mean, absolutely. It'd be devastating for Peace as a brand and for the players who we know are of a caliber that should be in playoffs in reality, right? Just knowing individually they're capable, they have been there before. We've got some LCO split champions sitting here right now in the 6th place position. And this does feel like a massive do or die moment for Peace, right? The reality is you have to win if you want to make playoffs. Kanga are showing that they're constantly winning, getting those dubs. They're staying 2 steps ahead of you now. It is do or die.
It certainly is do or die, and it's time to find out what that answer looks like as we load into the game for our second match of day 2 in week number 9. Not too far until the playoffs are all about us. And it's time to see how this one does come to a conclusion. Well, Babip is on the line here today to talk things the Chiefs, and I suppose, does this one almost cut close to home, being that, the last time you yourself were a player, you were on this roster, they were in a similar situation this time last year, fighting for that 5th and final spot. What do you really think from your perspective, with the insight that you would have, has been the issue, this split for them?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure. The difference from when I was playing there is that we still knew that we were really, really good. We just had, internal issues, so I'm not really sure what sort of issues they would be having, but it's kind of hard for me to comment on what is going wrong for them.
Yeah, I was curious, I suppose, as you mentioned, right, from your own problems back then this time last year. But, talk to me about this draft as a whole. We're obviously seeing Rise come back into the fold of things. It almost feels like these are the A+ champions for somebody like Tally, who can play the Twisted Fate, the Rise, the Galio, and so on. Do you feel like the meta is starting to go that way again?
The Rise is just an answer to Silas right now. And we've been playing it all week, testing it, and we still kind of got what we wanted, and yeah, it was expected for them to do this.
Oh, perfect. Well, on a quick final note, I know we spoke very early on in the split as to would it be a perfect split. You didn't want to jinx it, didn't want to say, but with only 3 games left, is there a lot more confidence? Is there a lot more belief now that it's actually a possibility?
I mean, I don't see what would stop us now. The biggest hurdle's out of the way, PGG, so I don't really see what will stop us now from just perfect splitting.
Perfect. Well, let's see if the record is yours to take. And I wish you boys the best luck in your game tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, I mean, so far we've seen a little bit of aggressive movement here from Arthur. Looks towards the level 2 gank in top lane, which, early opportunity, early surprise. Maybe it is possible, who knows? Lisa has gone towards the enemy red side jungle to see what he can find, but at the end of the day, has now crossed over to his top side, is trying to protect just a little bit more towards TN up here. And you can see Topoon being a bully, trying to hold this in a freeze. Arthur being relentless, assumes it has to be warded at this stage, right? Because TN, by body language, is backing away anytime he's showed, and so he's not going to show himself until Topoon makes the play or TN dashes forwards or an opportunity presents itself. W used opportunity here, counter gank available.
Yeah, Topoon charging in, looking to try and lay down that stun first and foremost. In goes the Wukong and down goes the kill. That's first blood. Lisa, hungry and hunting, gets that answer. and makes it a 1-for-1. But you know that Arthur is looking for more. He's waiting for that cooldown. He's waiting for that kill. He needs one more auto, and he flashes for it. Now squaring up against Appy as well. The clone across the wall when you can see me, but you can't kill me.
Arthur just goes crazy with the little skirmish there. Ends up getting the second kill for the team. Ends up winning the trade overall in the 2v2. We saw Lisa was making his way towards top lane, right? We saw him cross through mid-wave, and the Chiefs saw this as well. They still were confident enough to make the play happen. And keeping 10 down is such a standard affair for beating the Chiefs, really. But once again, you're seeing that enforced and really hit home by the Chiefs. Arthur Topoon, it's a Sejuani top. Fantastic lane to gank. There's an Ignite in top as well, right? All of the angles that you could want are there. They just get it done.
Great lane to gank for the reasons you mentioned. Lots of CC, easy setup, a great passive stun to follow afterwards, and really prevents Tien without a flash. He's running the Ghost to any real option to try and dodge out of harm's way. And Lisa just a little bit late to the play to try and find more, or at least try and prevent it. He'll be glad that he at least answered back 1-for-1. But that's all they'll get at this very early moment.
And almost escorted out of his own red side jungle by Topoon there as he comes back to top, realizes there's no need to stay in the wave. It's bouncing back towards him regardless. And it's going to be a stacked wave for him to collect in 30 seconds to a minute if he plays it slowly. So walks into the enemy red side. Lisa hasn't touched his red buff at all. Pass back towards bot, gets the Gromp. Maybe goes back up towards the red buff if he would have seen that it was still there after all. But that's a very odd path to take in the end, is it not?
He is. It's not going to get much easier for him because his bot lane must be screaming for attention right now as Razen and Adora really in their face are just saying, we're going to crash a wave, we're going to take a play under your nose.
Oh man, that control ward is actually really sad. The bush directly above where the Chiefs have placed their vision just there, you can place that control ward significantly better to get more deeper vision and actually deny probably the ward that is placed by the Chiefs if you place that correctly. So it's just a little bit sad. A control ward will exist and it will persist because Chiefs don't have the information that it's there. It's not denying vision, which is one nice difference between that ward and a deeper set ward in the bush, but
not achieved its purpose for the meantime.
Yeah, it hasn't cleared a ward.
Certainly. Ghost activated low Tien looking for that kill when Lisa here. Ready to make sure that they will find it. They need to get this kill given to the Gwen. Level 6 is across and a snip will secure the deal.
And that's the thing with the waves crashing and bouncing in top lane. Topoon knows that he's not going to be in a safe space, but gets engaged on level 5 to 6. The opportunity is there for Tien. And the gank from Lisa actually really crucial. This basically sets top lane up to be in an outstanding position. It's Tally's teleport that comes to collect the monster wave that Topoon now misses. That puts top back to dead even as far as the wave state is concerned. But as far as experience is concerned, Tien actually really far ahead.
Certainly is. To be feeling really happy about his chance in this one. It feels like almost like the second time today we've seen a huge wave crash and a big swing where you've got level 6 for just a moment. Right place, right time. Jungler's in the area and you seize that moment and you make it matter, make it mean something. And they certainly will need to make moments like that occur as they even up the odds in terms of 2 for 2.
Appy walking down bot side river, trying to get some honey fruit, maybe look for an opportunity to gank now that he is level 6. Does have the Ghost in hand with Unsealed Spellbook. And you heard from the Chiefs that the Sylas is a pick into the Ryze, and we've been seeing a lot of Ryze, or rather, the Ryze is picking a Sylas. We've been seeing a lot of Ryze players lately.
Yeah.
There's obviously a major reason for it. Sylas, one of those champions that can get carried away with certain matchups, certain waves. And the fact that Sylas is now being blind picked does change the state of mid lane matchups quite a lot. And here we are. A champion that everyone thought was dead, specifically the people that play it in Ryze. Apparently angles exist in competitive. And that's really it.
Yep. The Ryze main subreddit, not very happy about it at the moment though, given that the win rate in solo queue still is the lowest in the entire game. Getting closer and closer to the magical 40%. In go to chains. Tally looks to try and start up something here in the mid lane as Arthur is level 6, but gets locked in place with the root, so he cannot follow up with that Cyclone. Has the Sheen, so has a fair bit of damage, but Appy with the Ghost very close to his turret.
Yeah, super hard to actually take him down without a full commit from the Chiefs, and not sure they actually had the damage if they did go for a full commit. You can see, though, the rest of the Chiefs translating their way up. Why would you go all in for a mid lane potential pick on a double summoner available Ryze when you can instead force the objective, right? Use your top laner to get down here and assist that one, speed it up. Right, Rakan rather also showing straight through mid. Kind of enforcing the fact that Herald is just a fleeting dream and illusion for Peace to contest that one. I guess the one outstanding concern for both teams 8 minutes into this game, Skimmy, is probably the fact that Draven's got all of those stacks now with 83 CS, ready to cash in. One death could be devastating for the Draven, one kill could be devastating for Peace.
Certainly could be. It's a huge cash in ready to be utilized, and you're just waiting now to see where that moment comes from, how it's going to be achieved. Is it going to be in a straight 2v2? Is it going to require a big fight around a key crucial objective to unlock that possibility? Peace will be biding their time and hoping it doesn't come to fruition anytime soon, because, 9 minutes in, is still that 1k lead in favor of the Chiefs. They've now got a Herald to try and bridge that gap even further ahead.
Yeah, the crazy thing as well, just for the Chiefs, something that we've noticed perhaps in the past week or two is that Tally's CS per minute has skyrocketed. In almost every matchup in every lane that he's played, he's always found a way to be on, if not ahead of the clock pre-10 minutes every single time. Which is the hallmark of just a good laner, first and foremost, right? Like, Tally is such a stable player. It's really crucial for a team to have a point of stability, and if that's the midpoint of your map, you can't ask for a better place to have that. Allows Arthur to be much more dynamic, right? Having a lot more level 2 ganks, having a lot more early proactivity there. This game, it was a lot of enforcement towards top lane. With the quiet achiever in mid. Okay.
You can just see, though, how at home, at ease, Tally and Arthur both are. How many times have we seen even Tally in that one game where he played the Corgi? He was standing where Appy is right now just to ensure, yes, Arthur, invade. Yes, take that camp. Yes, you are the star of this show. It's a beautiful dynamic, and it's obviously paid off beautifully so far here as they find themselves in a position like this. Let's see, though. Where do Peace look to try and find that next moment? Second Drake up in 20 seconds.
Full river swept as well here. Lots of effort towards making sure they get the set up for the Drake. It isn't a full commit to the Drake itself, but with vision controlled, the next wave in, they'll be able to if they want.
So it'd be nice from Lisa if he can deny those adoration stacks, but it's going to be a little bit hard to try and find the angle.
Actually just pops his head in to say hello. Such a large wave, though, the Chiefs have to deal with means if they wanted to hit the Drake, they could start it straight away. Chiefs will be second to the play. Not going to go for it, however. Not going to take any risks. Mid-wave first. I feel like if Appy clears that mid-wave, moves his way down the river towards the Drake, now is a good time for them to look for that. So you can see hard pushing mid. Appy will move.
Vision planted, vision denied instantly there by Peace. They've started up this Drake, and Lisa on it as a solo for the meantime, tanking up all its damage. She's pondering the idea of contesting, but never really going in.
No. I mean, the second that TN showed on mid-wave, Chief said it was done. You can actually see the wraparound from Raze. He was looking to group up with his team for a 5v5. As Arthur was, of course, looking for a little skirmish entry point there. But yes, the second that TN showed mid, the Chiefs just said, let me get plates top. We'll just let the play fizzle. They have a Herald to summon bottom anyway, and while he gets knocked away, it is still coming back with full HP. However, there is a rise en route. We'll see how the Chiefs go.
Looking for a round warp angle. Tally has hijacked away the needlework, so he can walk down the normal way as the headbutt will finally be secured. Another 2 plates in favor here for the bot lane of the Chiefs. This Draven, if he can cash that one in, is just going to be a full item ahead at this point.
Yeah, super far ahead even without the kills, without the adoration stacks so far. Mid lane going to be all in fighting with the needlework. Of course, the Gwen changes still work nicely for a Sylas. There's no need to auto attack in there regardless. And just gets to mid a little bit faster as Appy was more aggressively hovering that bot lane play. But keep in mind, top lane 3 plates, bot lane 3 plates, all missing. Mid's the only place that seems to be completely stable, where the wave is more in a neutral state at all times. With that in mind, Chiefs are still pulling ahead.
You certainly are. And let's check in then. Good chance to have a look as to where everything is looking right now. Total gold. I mean, a lot of that is just going to be in fact that Tapoon stayed top, whilst Tien said, I'm going to show face, guaranteed that we get this second Drake. Tapoon got so many plates.
Yeah, I mean, 3 waves and 2 plates essentially was the cost there for Tien. Maybe 2 waves, 2 plates. Either way, it was a large cost to secure a Cloud Drake, to secure your first Drake of the game as well at that. Puts himself a little bit behind for the cause of the team, and the Chiefs, they want to keep him behind.
Here we go, it's a 3-man gank, and the bot lane of Chiefs has completely flipped the map. The quickness to start things off, the charm into the Cyclone, into the full CC combo. Whirling Death, there you go, cash it in, baby. It's time to go shopping.
828 gold straight into the pockets of a Draven who just reset out of base, bought the Eclipse and some boots. Well, guess what? He gets a lot extra for that. Christmas came early, and they're looking at a full turret in top lane as well, Skimmy. It's not just 800 gold from the kill. The first turret of the game.
20 seconds left before those plates disappear, so if they can get that as well, really is the absolute dream start here post 15 minutes. We talk about gold difference at 15 minutes. Chiefs have always been top of the table, and they're doing it again.
Actually, really big race against the clock here. They'll get it. First turret of the game. Lots of money now. Just straight into the pockets of Raze. It's funny because we just brought up total gold. Let's bring it back. We need look at the difference. Wow, skyrocketed. You thought Top Boon was in charge? No. Now about 2,000 gold ahead of Violet. That is the volatility of Draven. That is the Chiefs showing how Draven works, so that you don't have to level 2 gank the lane. As long as you're farming stably in bot, you find an angle, and that's all it takes.
That's tier 2 boots, and that's a fair bit of extra damage as a result as well. As Gunkrab pokes his head into mid lane and looks at Tally for a second to try and land that concussive blows. But really, Pieces bot lane much more interested now in just trimming that one out. And I suppose playing damage control, really, so early on.
I guess the question for Peace has to become, when do we fight? What does that look like overall, right? Because the Gwen wants to scale into the game. 2 items, 3 items. We've seen full AP Gwens from Biopanther. I don't know if we've seen a Nash's Tooth purchase since the changes to the Gwen ultimate.
We didn't see it from
I believe
Papyrus
it
earlier
was
today
just a
either.
Void Staff, and then he lost the game.
Yeah.
But if you're not building it first, it's very unlikely you're going to be building it at all. And so with that in mind, you can probably have a 2-item breakpoint as Gwen. Maybe like a level 11. You could just be more ult level reliant than you are just items. Mid lane has got the crown. In terms of things that break the crown, again, not a lot on the Chiefs side. They are mostly committal with their engage. There are some things, but again, it's going to be easier said than done when a Rise is sitting in Fog of War looking for those ult opportunities. And Violet's a massive scaling threat. You saw it yesterday, though they lost. Aladoric's big trouble.
Yeah, Aladoric's just going to fall on down for free. Completely punished. Big pick.
At least without flash used. Very nicely done by Peace. Just a bit of money in the pockets, however, not going to get a carry. They are just going to lock down the support member of the Chiefs staff. Continuing to farm as usual. What does it mean, right? Peace get a pick. Does it result in anything? Not to be seen yet. There's a Drake in 15 seconds, however, and it is likely that it could assist in the taking of that Drake. But again, it's only the second of the game for Peace if they lock this one down. That's not game winning, it's not game defining. But a major point of difference prior to this Drake is that Top Boon's here, Tien is not.
Certainly is. Tien is actually going to cancel his record in favor of going for a TP. Chiefs squaring up to see, do we go for a fight first? Aladoric not going to plant a vision, so Tien completely unknown. The Drake has been reset. The Keeper's Verdict actually being used by Solus to knock back Lisa. Glacier Prison, Tapoon showing respect to what could be that flanking Tien. Out goes Aladoric, looking for the quickness, looking for the charm, looking for the key target to try and take on down. Tally surrounded by 3 right now, just drawing their attention elsewhere. Appy goes gold and jumps back in with Aladoric. Anafa flashing across the wall and fails to blast go. Mike just to try and deny himself to this turret, or just buy time on that minion wave instead. Everybody low, but nobody willing to die for it. Anafa might just sneak in a cheeky kill against Tien before he falls.
Him.
He does it! A Triumph proc, and now he's just toying with them.
Yeah, he didn't want to die to the turret, just chooses to continue to fight them. I don't even think Arthur expected that much damage to come out of him onto Tien. Very tense fight, to be honest, between them both. You could see the idea, Chiefs, they saw the commitment. The Silas ultimate was stole the Poppy ultimate, rather, and was used to knock Poppy away, and that's their angle to complete the Drake. But then they realized, as they were stuck in the pit, we don't have a lot of dash champions. What do we do? And they realize they have to fight their way out. So they do. They escort Raze on the way through the back half of that skirmish. And it was onto a Crown of the Shattered Queen Rise. So that's where it gets really, really difficult for Chiefs to navigate, right? So first and foremost, Lisa yeeted out of the area. Drake secured. Tien, while on a flank, the Sejuani ultimate just assumes he's there, but doesn't actually lock him down. And then they just chase Appy, who really nicely flashes away, and only just now gets the crown shattered. So he's just so tanky, buys so much time for the rest of Peace. You would say, in theory, that should be a winning team fight, because there's not much more that Appy can do to survive. But there's just no damage. They're not able to do enough damage to lock down the Chiefs at all. And then Tien just hits him with an absolute walloping Q. It gets a nice kill. The W, of course, the clone putting in some work there as well.
Certainly was. That was a bit of a crushing blow on multiple levels, to say the least. And a whole host of flashes being burnt to try and facilitate that play, both in survival but also outplay potential. And that has really dissuaded the piece. Hype train from finding that early soul point to try and be excited for. We talked about some of the cool factors as to having the likes of a Poppy and a Brom to try and enable somebody like a Rise and a Sivir to try and run you on down. A Hextech Soul will certainly help that even more.
Nice cleanse.
Good cleanse comes out as Appy is the one to be run on down, and cycling through that unsealed spellbook will not be picked apart to make it a 4v5.
I mean, picture perfect cleanse from Appy. Predictive, very nicely done by him. Teleport going to be used to make sure that they can defend the top lane outer turret here. Tally's going to be the person to do so. Tian just looking to crash these waves in, break some structures if he possibly can.
They're looking for it. He's got the Glacial Prison straight onto Raze, but they actually get to not even do any damage as a result, because in goes Aladoric, instantly turns the fight around. The Realm Walk coming in from Appy, but he's just out of range. He can't land any damage. Q and walk away. And Tally wasn't even there the entire time.
They've countered the Rise by simply walking away. You can see some damage from the Sivir bounces there with the Ricochet, but end of the day, Peace really struggling to find an entry point in these skirmishes. Braum ultimate, Sivir ultimate, they've got tools, they just can't find it. They found Tally.
I don't believe he got stunned, he got grounded, but that was about it. Tally just perfect in his positioning. Midway point and in the lane. And prevents himself falling on down for scraps that Peace were hunting for.
And that's what it feels like across the board here, though, from Peace. They're hunting. They're looking for picks. They're looking for kills. They've got 2 items done on their mid laner. Their top lane is now level 11, starting to feel a little bit stronger. They're fighting for every inch of land that they think they own. The Chiefs still surviving every single time, however. Makes it extremely frustrating. And that gold lead just starting to stretch piece by piece. Further ahead. 1 more kill for Raze at this point as well. And you thought that 2,000 gold lead was a lot. I mean, he's got 2 big items. He's so far ahead of Violet. That only gets worse.
Could certainly be deja vu to the time they met up against each other last. And I am really curious to see if Raze can, retain that perfect record where he's not died a single time this split up against Peace. Would certainly be one to feel proud of. It might just be his ticket to get MVP.
The really important notes here for the coming Drake in 40 seconds. Stopwatch check. I feel like is quite crucial if the Chiefs have shown that they want to contest for most of these objectives, which I believe they have. Peace are putting a little bit more of their emphasis towards these side lanes. As it currently stands, they have the teleport advantage on Tian, where there is no teleport for a solo laner of the Chiefs. So this is actually a bit of a time press situation for the Chiefs. You show top. Peace could take the Drake. But Peace are oddly bucking that trend instead of prioritizing the Drake side of the map, knowing that Tian is, the best option to move around the map to translate to the pit. They're protecting him instead. So they're not going to play for the Drake.
Don't seem to be too interested about it right now as Tally and Appy fight on through, and Tally's not going to be able to interrupt that Realm Warp as the Chiefs teased at a potential gank. So he's out of harm's way, and that's going to put Chiefs on 3 Drakes to their name. 5 minutes go across, Hextech Soul picked up, and then really Peace need to find a moment.
And no bounties on this turret as well, so it is just going to be a turret taken. Tian going to look to push this wave in. Ideally, he wants to reset afterwards regardless, least to get spotted, but is also just basing. Full reset here from the side of Peace. Let's look at where they choose to deploy now that Baron is the only objective on the cards. 22 minutes into this one, they did establish a decent amount of control around the area, but it's not going to be something that they realistically go for just yet. The Rise build isn't full AP machine gun. The Sivir has 2 items now, but prior to that wasn't going to be the greatest of Barons, and even then, the Ricochet has no value inside the Baron pit. It's just going to be raw crit damage that comes out of Violet if he's hitting the objective. Baron's quite beefy. I don't think Peace feel like they need to do something. I think the signs of giving away that Drake is a clear sign that they would rather take 5 more minutes to get some items on their carries as necessary. And then at their strongest point when they are forced to fight, they look for that play. Because right now, Draven's terrifying, right? There's stopwatches, there's Zhonya's hourglasses absolutely everywhere. And there's summoner spells coming back as we speak. You want everything at your disposal if you're going to win a fight.
Only one we're waiting for right now would be Tally's Flash. But that would give you the best possible chance of contesting a team fight and potentially coming out and triumphing. No bounties when it comes to objectives, but only one on a champion's head. That is the Silas. Small margin still at this point, but he has opted for the Liandry's build as opposed to the Everfrost. They feel like they got enough lockdown between the Rakan, Wukong, and the Sejuani.
They sure they do. Yeah.
And they certainly do, right? So you got a lot of tanky melee champions. Liandry's going to put in a fair bit of work.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of effect to come from that Liandry's purchase here. For Tally, straight into the Zonias afterwards, so still has the utility in his build, a bit more survivability there. They found him.
They found the moment. They found Raze. Can he go golden? He's flashed away. He's been exhausted. This might be his first death. He's going to come out, and there they go. Tien claims it. A much-needed kill. And Lisa survives. Blinking health bar. Arthur just gets away. And I said Peace would need to find a moment within these next 5 minutes, and that is a perfect one.
And they got it. Lisa finds the angle. The whole of Peace were ready to jump at the play. In these do-or-die moments, Peace desperate, backs against the wall to stay in the split. They'll find the pick. Chiefs contesting, however, 4K on the Baron.
Arthur's not here. He's running as quick as he can to this one. It's going to be a flip, and it's not going to be taken by the Chiefs. Peace have fallen victim to these Barons where they take it, and then they die afterwards. A pound recall! Tien's been interrupted. They've lost 2. But they've retained it on Violet. They've retained it on Appy, and surely still that's a net positive.
Yeah, you still take this situation if you are Peace for sure, right? You've got Baron buff on your carries. You're in a very advantageous position still, though you've lost it on Tien, which is a shame for the side lane, as Skimmy is dismantling the entire studio. But let's look at the replay. Raze gets caught. It's the flash and the charge from Lisa. Finds his target, goes straight over Arthur to find that as well. So sight set on the carry. Draven with 1,000,000 stacks in his pocket is going to be denied the kill as well, making sure that Poppy's ultimate comes through. Out of that stasis. We're back. We're fighting.
Out of a stasis, into another stasis, out of a replay, into the action, and into Appy falling on down as Alec jumps all across the land. Playing Happy Feet. And finding redemption for that previous team fight. That's one more Baron buff removed.
Yeah, for sure. They're still punishing Peace. They're still in an advantageous position overall. Peace are just giving us signs of life that I feel like has been sorely missing. When it's said and done, we come back from a replay. Chiefs still putting their best foot forwards. They always know what the best reaction and action is on the map, even after negative fight outcomes. Re-establish themselves once again around the Drake area. 1 minute on the clock, Skimmy, until it feels like it is do or die for Peace. They are missing flash on every single person in the game for this objective fight. There is flash there for Alidoric and Tally. So they have got a slight edge there, especially on the engage of a Rakan having that summoner spell. I would say Peace backs against the wall in this situation.
Certainly is. So much committed to try and facilitate that play just moments prior. And a Dragon is going to be as easy as they would like it to be, but it never will be when you got the caliber, the level, the players in the Rift right now. Alidoric really does have a huge amount of control to try and be the difference maker in this upcoming Dragon Soul contest. The Baron really has fizzled out to be much more of a buff denial more than anything. If you look at the gold.
I mean, it's a Baron buff that Chiefs can't get, so it's still not a bad outcome in the end, especially when you were in a losing game state. But Drake on the cards. Braum ultimate stolen by Silas. While it was hijacked, it'll just be used. A little bit of damage there from the Liandry. Void Staff done from the Gwen. She is in the area looking for a flank, but will be spotted.
Hijack does have a very low cooldown, so it should be up again.
That Poppy ult was way too early.
Keeper's verdict way too early. The contest, the fight's only now just starting to work its way towards that Dragon. Tien in a familiar situation. He's going to go in for the flank. There's the knockup. In goes Alidoric, looking for the charm. Jumps straight on towards Violet, his former AD carry. Arthur's just assassinated Lisa. It won't be a flip. He claims them the soul. 3 back-to-back Hextech Drakes. And now they have damage infinite. Double kills so far here for Tally. He has been the man on the mission. As Arthur goes golden, they get the ace.
Violet tries his absolute heart out, but just doesn't have the flash, doesn't have the Infinity Edge finished right. If it was a 3-item Drake fight, Sivir maybe gets a pentakill there, but not to be. Chiefs are going to be the ones that come out victorious. They accelerate the gold lead to 6,000. And now they look to snowball the rest of this game out with a clean team fight from them on an individual level. They just play their part of the fight, picture perfect. You watch this again. Arthur gets into the pit, right? Wins the 1v1. They dodge the Poppy engage. That was super early because now you can't play for the Drake as a flip. You can't threaten with the Poppy Copter. Alidoric will find his entry here as well, straight onto Violet to deny him. And while Tan has a crazy flank, and he survives and does a whole lot of damage in this fight, it's the rest of the fight that had already fizzled by the time he gets in. You know, the Braum not going to provide anything more. The Poppy had used everything that he had and was gone from the fight, and the damage was kept down by Rakan. We said this in champs, like Siva can't deal with Rakan.
Certainly couldn't, and whilst he does a whole host of damage, he just couldn't really be there to back up Tien. That was trying to be a bit of a raid boss in his own right and pad everybody down to make something like a boomerang or a ricochet be the star of the show. Appy in trouble, instant flash away, having copped a glacial prison. He may just be in prison as he's going to go grey for 53 seconds.
Appy put to sleep. Chiefs now going to push top lane. No Baron buff in hand. Siva can still one-hit minion waves. Peace's win condition right now is Violet. Once again, it is Violet. And they're getting closer and closer to that Infinity Edge. But when all said and done, Chiefs finding their angles, just picking at the wound that is the Peace team right now. Anyone in the side lane is a victim.
Certainly is. When a chain lightning goes across, you just find cheeky moments like this. Lisa wallbang up against the wall on towards Aladoric. Instant flash away. Out comes the Keeper's Verdict.
Oh.
This time knocking back multiple members. But the bot lane of Chiefs is still squaring up against this mid lane inhibitor. And as much as Tien tries his hardest to try and sneak in some objective bounties down in the bot lane, Chiefs get what they came for.
Yeah, they're just trying to get some money in their pockets now, right? Chiefs still to the desired effect will break the mid lane inhibitor. They'll reset, they'll save bottom, and they'll protect that inhibitor tower from falling. Whole lot of money into the pockets of Topoon just there. And still, Chiefs, no doubt in control. We just cling to hope if you're a Peace fan, right? You're just saying it has to be Violet. He's got his 3 items, he's got his Infinity Edge done, but he doesn't have a Last Whisper. And now he's got to get through an extremely tanky Topoon. Again, the advantage of Sivir is that you can hit the front line and kill the back line. But that requires something really special from Peace as a whole, not just from Violet.
Certainly would be. Nice clone. Dash away there from Arthur. As Raze knows that he has a big target painted on his back, he's actually rushed the Guardian Angel. The fight's going to start off. Guncrab trying to dissuade it, knocking everybody up. Aladoric on very low HP, jumps back in again to try and shield. Violet's found that double kill. He's locking to try and burst into life himself, and Topoon has to dash across the wall, having just burnt TP to enter into this fight. Peace is saying, forget him. Go for Baron number 2.
Guncrab hits him with a flash Q just because he can. Baron on the cards here for Peace. That was a perfect scenario for them to have the team fight, but the Chiefs chose the fight. And they were met and they were bested. So many bounties go across. And suddenly this game, as per yesterday for Peace, is oddly winnable.
Huge, huge gold swing, claiming bounties from turrets, from champions, and from the Baron as well. Let's see how it all started off once again.
And it's Arthur that gets initially engaged on, but it's the choice of Chiefs here to continue to look for this skirmish. And the question is why? Right, like why go for this engage without your Draven here yet, without your Sejuani that's to teleport in, and not knowing where Peace were. 5 members strong, straight into the area, massive shutdowns into their pockets. The tragedy is that Lisa got that 1,000 gold. But when all's said and done, that's what you want. You want a choke point. You want an opportunity for Sivir to ricochet all of them while just hitting the closest target, and they were presented that on a silver platter.
And it was perfect how they handled the Rakan as well, because he hit the quickness and just locked in place for so much time. He just couldn't do much.
The dash.
Absolutely. So he was just gone as soon as the fight broke out, and really, straight away, the likes of Silas and Sejuani thinking, I can't do much about this one. What started off as that insanely fed full item advantage here for Raze, while still ringing true, is now being completely short up here by Violet.
Do you believe in the Violet dream? Do you believe that it's actually possible for Violet to carry Peace across the line in these late game team fights? The comp is set up to do so, right? They've got one hyper carry AD and AP champion in the Gwen with the Deathcat Void Staff build, and the Sivir with now 4 items completed. The rest of the team is utility. It's defensive as well. It's about protecting their carries. It's certainly possible that Peace win this game, but can they take a game from the undefeated Chiefs?
Would be the most unthinkable timeline, to say the least. Peace have been so up and down. It's really hard to try and understand what it is about this team that has put them in a position where they are now, fighting tooth and nail. 3 games left. They need to basically win every single game. And at 32 minutes, they've beaten the curse of losing in straight 25-game sets.
And they got Violet to where he wanted to be. They got Peace as a team to where they want to be, Skimmy. It's absolutely at a point 2,000 gold, but a Hextech soul to make up a little bit of that difference. The game looking like it's just going to come down to an Elder Drake. Stopwatch is there for Gwen and for Ryze. No stopwatch available for the jungler of the Chiefs anymore, just the Zonia's for Tally. big thing to look forward to in this fight is, can Violet survive? Can Peace keep him alive? Or can Tally find an angle to get into the backline? Because he really is the backline damage.
And the flashes are up and available once again. Those are the most important ones. Chiefs will be wanting to try
Gwen's
and play
gone.
this one slow because the mid inhibitor is still there. Gunkrab chucks at the Glacial Prison really early. The Elder, they don't really seem to be interested about it whatsoever.
They've
Tally.
got supers mid here as well, so
just buying
realistically,
time.
Chiefs don't need to fight. They're going to pressure Peace into making a decision. The decision's been made.
Has been indeed. Tally's now still in the Glacial Prison himself. He knocks up 2. Instant knockback there onto Arthur. There's
comes
not going to be a
Scott.
smite still. Lisa trying to rush this one down as quickly as he can.
Oh.
Whirling death! And Tien's down for a whole minute. Arthur Blast
Arthur's
guns
back.
himself in. The Elder's been reset. They flashed into the backline and Gunkrab's gone. They found that kill, but the junglers are doing what they do best, and that is smiting camps and claiming kills. Tally is on an absolute tear, and Violet is gone.
And they're teleporting into the base, pushed to their absolute limits to be sure the Chiefs, but when it all is said and done and a team fight goes their way, it is still the Nexus, and it is still an undefeated team.
It certainly is, and I tell you what, Rusty, there's something going on here in a best-of-1 format. Chiefs just don't
After the
lose.
inhibitor.
They need to reclaim the inhibitor. There's no way Peace can defend. They're down for just too long. It's only Gunkrab up in 10 seconds. And even it is 2 members strong at the moment, they've got Hex Gates to enter the base. They've got the damage, they've got the time, and they got that GG condition. 19-0, an absolute heroic performance. And Chiefs now really gleaming with success. Only 2 games left.
And it shows. I mean, above all else, while the Chiefs still find their win, it shows, 1, the potential of Peace, the capabilities that Peace have, though currently sitting out of playoffs, and 2, that Chiefs are beatable, that they aren't an absolutely perfect team. While they are undefeated and they are the best right now that Oceania has to offer, they aren't perfect, and they do still have cracks in their armor that can be attacked, and that's what Peace did in this game. They found one moment, bounties bring them back in the game, and then suddenly it was a 50-50 moment at the Elder, but Chiefs just too strong, too resilient.
So anyway, Mac, and yeah, always an exciting time when you watch these games.
Well, you should have heard
Far
Kitty
out.
in the green room. She was like, why is it the day that I go against Peace? Why are they doing it now? But look, you're safe. You're safe. You went
I'm
with
safe,
Chiefs.
I'm safe, guys.
We got the prediction. Big game coming out from a few individuals. It was good to see Violet finally starting to have a decent amount of impact. I thought, you know, with that fight into that second Baron as well, look, Peace not only breaking that drought of the Baron, that whole curse you were talking about yesterday, they managed to get to this game, but it still wasn't enough. Even when team fights started to go Peace's way, I'm still looking at that gold difference, and Chiefs are just so good at having such a big gold buffer that even with all of this, like, objective bounties, all of these things, getting Peace back into the game, Chiefs still managed to have a 3K, 4K gold lead, even at, like, the worst of times. So I was never worried. I was a little bit worried at some points, but for the most part, every time I was looking at all these team fights, I still was never super worried for Chiefs, because I felt like they were always really in the driver's seat. Like, they were baiting out ults even before the Elder, a couple of these fights as well. This one, I almost threw it out there as, you know, a play of the day, because if Peace turned the game around right here with these kills and then managed to get the first win over Chiefs, like, that had to be play of the day, right? Because it was the play that broke the Chiefs. But didn't end up panning out that way.
It did not, but I really want to highlight, well, Chiefs, obviously, they have a really clear plan when they do head into these team fights, especially in this Elder Drake. We do know that they want to play for the fight. They do not want to go for the dragon. However, Peace, looking at their wave state in mid lane, they are pressured to actually start the dragon. So maybe they were nervous, maybe something went wrong in the communications, but the fight was all over the place. And I wanted to just say that on that 4th dragon, where it was Hextech Soul, we saw 3 people doing 3 different things on Peace. Lisa was going for the dragon, Gunkrab was dying at the front of the fight, and Violet was trying to kite back. So it was just kind of everywhere, and we've seen this kind of performance many times from Peace, where I think if one more person stands up and carries, other than Violet, then they do have a chance to make it into playoffs.
On that note, it was a 25-minute, you know, max game time between these teams before. Exactly 10 minutes longer they lasted today. 35 on the damn dot. Chiefs got that soul. That was a big little diffy there. And then you're having a look at the gold difference. You've got a mountain when things started to go, you know, right for Chiefs, wrong for Chiefs, and then right for Chiefs again as well. So it was a relatively close affair. But look, unfortunately for Peace, today was not the day. But damn, they looked really good. Like, I guess better than expected.
much improved.
Yeah.
Much improved, to say the least, for the Peace squad. But the issue that they still seem to run into is their team fighting. You know, like, they have really been struggling with finding a successful 5v5. And the one fight they won in this game that looked really promising was a 5v3. So it's a bit easier to execute.
Yeah.
Like, that has been persistent for a long time.
Well, we have some eyes, some ideas, some brains. You know, this man, mid laner, Tally. You guys know him. He's got a big smile. He's pretty happy generally. How you feeling, big man?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, a win's a win. Like, it wasn't as clean as I wanted to be, but like, you know, it is. We take it.
Okay, so not shook at all. Not shook.
Nah, not really.
Nah, good.
That's great. Well, usually we do have a much cleaner games from Chiefs. So do you want to go into detail? Why do you think this game actually was very tough where you guys could have lost?
So normally it's really easy for us to just like either siege or like dive when we like have a lead, but we can't really find that because we're like 4 melee champions and a Draven, and they have like one of the best wave clear champs in the game, and it's really hard for us to like snowball our lead. And as the game goes on, like Poppy and Braum are extremely good at like peeling out dive, and Sivir is really good into all our melee champs, so like it was just like really hard for us to find the angles to actually like take over the game, and we had to like set up traps and do like sneaky stuff to be able to like get a lead.
Did you mostly pick those melee champs off of the Gwen pick? Because that's kind of what we saw in the first game, where you're just like, oh, Gwen, well, we'll just pick some melee champs, get on in the ring and, you know, have a bit of fun? Or was it just sort of the way that the draft ended up happening?
Well, you know, I think Gwen is like one of the most broken champs in the game right now, but no one else on my team agrees with me, so hopefully this is a showing point of why we should like look at that thing, because like the fact you can cast your ult without actually hitting stuff anymore is crazy to me.
Gwen is broken, and I definitely agree, because we saw that one game from Dials vs Peace where Zoranos was just walking on everyone with that Gwen, and that could have potentially happened to you guys once again. So we do have Sivir and Ryze being picked together twice. Why do you think this combo is so popular in the LCO where we see it for tonight against you guys?
Well, I think the Ryze is just like a good answer to Sylas. It's like you don't really give him a good ult, and you can like match his early game damage while also like being a point and click CC, which is like one of the best things to play into Sylas. And then I think Sivir was just like, that's Violet's comfort, that's what he wanted to play. Like, I wouldn't really say like a blind pick Sivir is like the best thing to do, because you're pretty easy to punish. But like just having that much like wave clear and scaling is always like a consistent thing to have if you want to like win.
Now quickly, before I let you go, is today the day that Ryze gets that Dare MVP?
That's I don't know.
Yeah?
That's a toughie.
That's a toughie.
Oh, I mean, it's up to you guys. You guys get to choose anyway.
We do.
And we all have Elador's Rakan, apparently. And that guy's, he's played Rakan against, you got to give him MVP.
Yeah, true.
Mind control.
We'll take that into account. Anyway, Tally, we'll let you go. Stay undefeated, King.
All right, thank you. See ya.
Always good to chat with Mr. Smiley.
Yeah.
He wasn't that sold on Ryze as the Dare MVP. What do you guys think?
No, that's so true. Congrats,
I'm not
Alidoric, for picking Rakan. No, I don't actually even think I'd give it to Alidoric in this one.
I would give it to Arthur. Arthur's Wukong actually did so much in these team fights. We see him going for the right carries, and then especially following up on these picks.
Yeah.
I just think Arthur and Wukong work so well together, where he has a very clear decision on what he is doing, and he executes it well.
He also got that little cheeky illegal solo bolo when he was
Yeah.
running away and turned
Refuses
around on
to
the
die.
team.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah?
Hard to look past him.
All right,
I think
Arthur,
it's
look,
Arthur.
Ryze is
The
going to
number
hate
one,
you, but
the number
again,
one.
congratulations. Dare MVP for the second game of the day. Real stone cold in that pre-game interview. Stone cold in the game. And look, 5-3-10. Big KP, big damage on that Wukong. And again, every time he gets the Wukong, he seems to be getting this MVP. So maybe it's a ban that needs to start coming back. The thing is, there's so many things you need to ban, but you only have 5.
I mean, he plays like such a limited champion pool right now, but he's such a cool performer. You know,
Yeah.
shows up and does his job every single time. Feels like nerves don't get to him, right? He just shows up and does his job every single time as required. This time it was gank the Sejuani lane, and it was very successful, though extremely forced.
Yep.
He made it work. That's his job.
And he did his job to a T. That's why he's the Dare MVP. You guys at home, are you ready for match 3? I hope you are. We got Order and Direwolves coming up just after the break, so don't go too far. We'll see you soon for Game 3.
Fight's only now just starting to work its way towards that Dragon. Tien in a familiar situation. He's going to go in for the flank. There's the knockup. In goes Eladoric, looking for the charm. Jumps straight on towards Violet, his former AD carry. Arthur's just assassinated Lisa. It won't be a flip. He claims them the soul. 3 back-to-back Hextech Drakes, and now they have damage infinite. Double kills so far here for Tally. He has been the man on the mission as Arthur goes golden. They get...
Hey, look, menu bomb.
Am I meta? Right
Kind of?
now.
Yes?
You are becoming meta.
Yes?
Am I Rise?
What?
I wanted to throw a
Wow.
small bone. I didn't want to give him too much.
Hey.
Maybe it was too much.
As soon as I saw it, I just thought, Alt Q, Alt Q, Alt F4.
Yeah, that's why it was
just like-
funny.